So in case you didn't see, yesterday Amazon MGM announced that the new James Bond film has found a director, and that director is Denis Villeneuve. When I saw this article, quite a few thoughts went through my mind, so I thought I'd hop on here and give my take real quick. Is Denis Villeneuve the right choice for James Bond right now? And every part of that question plays into this a little bit. Now, is Denis Villeneuve a good choice as a director for basically anything? Yes, he's a fantastic filmmaker. He's obviously very talented. I'm working on a video right now who will be the defining director of the 2020s, and he is easily in the top 3 of that conversation. Maybe in the top 1. His filmography speaks for itself. He can clearly do thoughtful blockbusters. He can clearly do action. We've seen mostly sci-fi epic type action, but he can also do gunfight action, very tense action. We've seen that in Sicario. He can just craft a very well-made film with a consistent tone. However, tone is where my only concerns lie, and that's what I mean by all parts of that question come into play. Is he right for James Bond, and is he right for Bond right now? Because I see Denis Villeneuve's style and tone at slight odds with where I at least was hoping the James Bond franchise would be going post-Daniel Craig. I'm also working on a video called How to Save Every Film Franchise, and the idea I put forward in that about James Bond is the next Bond I think you want to differentiate from Craig tonally, and maybe go back, not to Roger Moore style necessarily, but to a Casino Royale type of tone, to a Connery Bond type tone, to something with a little bit more fun, a little bit more tongue-in-cheekness to it. Again, I'm not saying go full Kingsman, go Austin Powers, but the Craig Bond movies, I feel, faltered and started to lose audiences a bit because they got very self-serious. They were riding the wave of the Nolan Dark Knight style, where you take a classic, fun, fictional property and give it a very serious, real-world tone. And that worked for some of it, for sure. I think Skyfall's great. I think the other films aren't without redeeming qualities. But by the end, it was so somber and bleak. He's depressed, he has a kid. The movies aren't really that cool or that fun. He gets absolutely fucking nuked at the end. I'm not a hater of the Craig Bond movies, but I think where they ended up tonally, it was a little bit of a drag. It was hard to get into, and I feel like starting fresh, my hope at least, was to go back to something a little more fun, a little more exciting. And the thing is, Denis Villeneuve, a little bit, I mentioned Christopher Nolan before, a little bit like Nolan, I view him as a bit of a cold director. His movies are not devoid of any fun, especially Dune 2 has some fun in it, for sure. I'd say it's probably his most fun blockbuster film. But if we just run through his blockbusters, you're talking Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner, and Dune. As blockbusters go, I do view them as pretty cold, kind of humorless movies. All very good, some better than others, but generally the quality of filmmaking here is great. But just tonally, that's kind of the point I'm trying to get at. It feels more aligned with the Daniel Craig Bond, with the place that we were just in. And maybe Villeneuve could make a great Bond movie in that style. But I at least, and I assume a lot of people, though I could be wrong, you can let me know down below, are a little sick of that style for this franchise. Now, there are counter-arguments to that. One would be one of the bigger problems with the Craig Bond movies, especially as they went, isn't just the tone, but also that they established this interconnected lore and continuity, and that got a bit boring and tiresome. And Villeneuve is starting fresh, and he might do just like a standalone thing, and that'd be great. And also, he is such a talented filmmaker, you would assume he can tweak his style. He can work in other genres. His films have had a pretty consistent style and tone. But to adjust it somewhat, it's probably not impossible for someone who's as good at making movies as Denis Villeneuve is. And also, maybe the biggest counter-argument is, maybe the Bond movies don't have to bend to my will. Like, maybe people do still want this kind of tone for James Bond. Look, overall, here's what I would say. I'm excited to see this. I think it will be good. Denis Villeneuve makes good movies. Hot take. And I think maybe my wish is he takes the style that he brought to Dune 2 and maybe turn up the fun a little bit. Again, we don't have to get ridiculous or put stuff in that doesn't tonally mesh. Like Spectre did that a little bit, where it had some fun Bond stuff in an otherwise kind of self-serious movie, and that was kind of weird. But if you aim for more of that Casino Royale tone, cool, slick, still a bit serious but fun, I feel like that could be the move. And if he doesn't, it still could definitely be very good. I just think for this specific franchise, at this specific point in time, right after the direction this franchise has been going in, maybe it's not the first pick I would have gone with. However, he's still a great director. But those are my thoughts on the Villeneuve Bond news. What do you think of it? And also, who do you think should be the next James Bond? Who would fit well in a Denis Villeneuve Bond movie? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head of people in previous Villeneuve movies, and I'm feeling pretty good about a Jeremy Renner James Bond, perhaps. But let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram at BHL_Hudson, my Letterboxd at RealBHLHudson, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.